Has someone you love started changing in quiet, unexpected ways? Maybe they're sleeping more, eating less, or just not themselves lately. If you're over 65, or caring for an aging parent, it's important to know the body often gives subtle signs before the end of life, sometimes even a year in advance. These signs aren't loud, they don't scream for attention, but they matter. In this video, we'll gently walk through 5 quiet but powerful signs that may mean an elderly person is in their final year of life. Recognizing these early can help you prepare emotionally, make thoughtful decisions, and most importantly, bring peace, comfort, and love to the time that's left. Stay with us, because what you learn today could make all the difference in how you care for those you love, and how you cherish every remaining moment. 1. When the body grows quieter. The hidden meaning behind sudden weight loss in old age. You may not notice it right away. Maybe your favorite pants feel looser than usual. Your belt now fastens one notch tighter. Meals you once looked forward to now seem less appealing. I'm just not that hungry anymore, you might say to yourself. And others might brush it off, telling you it's just part of aging. But here's something we often forget. Unintentional weight loss, especially in older adults, isn't always harmless. In fact, it's often one of the first and quietest signs that the body is entering its final chapter. This kind of change doesn't happen overnight. It begins gently, a spoonful left uneaten here, a skipped breakfast there. Slowly, your appetite fades, not because you're trying to lose weight, but because your body is quietly telling you, it's changing. It's slowing down. It's conserving energy. As we age, our digestive system becomes less efficient. The body may stop absorbing nutrients as it once did. Muscle begins to fade, not just from inactivity, but from the body no longer using protein the way it used to. You might feel a little weaker, a little more tired than before. Climbing the stairs, getting out of a chair, or even carrying a grocery bag feels heavier than it used to. Many seniors notice this but don't talk about it. Perhaps they don't want to worry their families. Or maybe they simply believe it's part of getting older. But here's the truth: sudden, unexplained weight loss is often the body's early signal that something deeper is happening. And it's not just physical. When your appetite fades, when meals lose their taste, life can begin to feel duller. Food is not just fuel, it's joy, comfort, connection. Sunday dinners, coffee with friends, birthday cake with the grandkids, they're moments of meaning. So when eating becomes a chore, it's not just your body that suffers. The spirit starts to shrink too. Weight loss can also be tied to underlying illnesses like cancer, heart disease, or kidney failure, illnesses that may not show obvious symptoms at first, but slowly pull strength from within. Even emotional weight like grief, depression, or loneliness can take a toll. When the heart is heavy, the appetite often disappears. Families often respond with love, favorite dishes, protein drinks, encouragement to just eat a little more. But when the body is preparing for its final phase, eating more won't always help. What helps most is comfort, simple meals, hydration, gentle care, and above all, presence, someone sitting nearby, sharing a quiet moment, holding your hand. If you've noticed yourself or someone you love losing weight without meaning to, especially if it's paired with less energy, less interest in food, or more physical weakness, it might be time to pause. Not out of fear, but out of awareness. Awareness brings clarity. Clarity brings peace. This isn't about giving up. It's about listening to the body, respecting its wisdom, and making the time we have, whether it's months or moments, rich with meaning, dignity, and love. Because in the end, it's not the number on the scale that matters. It's the memories we make, the people we hold close, and the gentle kindness we give to ourselves and to those around us as we walk through the final season of life. 2. When even getting out of bed feels like a mountain, the deep exhaustion few talk about. You've always been the strong one. You got things done. You took care of the house, the family, yourself. You were dependable, steady as a rock. But lately, something has shifted. You wake up feeling tired, even after a full night's sleep. The simple act of getting out of bed feels like climbing a hill. Making breakfast? Too much. Talking on the phone? Draining. You try to push through, but your body whispers, "Not today." This isn't just slowing down with age. This is something deeper. It's a type of exhaustion that doesn't go away with rest. A weariness that lives in your bones. A quiet message from your body saying it no longer has the same energy to give, because it's saving it for what matters most. For many older adults, this deep fatigue is one of the clearest signs that the body is preparing for its final chapter. It doesn't mean you're giving up. It doesn't mean something is wrong. It means your body is being honest with you. And it wants you to listen. In these moments, even the little things feel big. Taking a shower, getting dressed, walking to the mailbox. You used to do them without thinking. Now, they require planning, rest breaks, sometimes even help, and that can be frustrating. You might feel embarrassed, like you've lost your independence, or worse, like a burden. But please, hear this. You're not a burden. What you're experiencing is natural. It's your body working hard to protect you, conserving energy for the things that still bring you peace. A quiet moment in the sun, the sound of your favorite song, the comfort of a loved one's voice. This kind of fatigue isn't just physical. It touches the heart too. You may find yourself pulling back from conversations, skipping social gatherings, losing interest in hobbies you once loved. It's not because you don't care anymore. It's because you're tired, in a way most people won't fully understand unless they've lived it too. Some well-meaning family members might encourage you to get moving, to fight through it. But what they don't see is the invisible effort you're already making, just by showing up each day. What you need most right now isn't motivation. It's compassion. Let yourself rest. Let your body guide you. Say no when you need to. Say yes to quiet. Accept help, not because you failed, but because you deserve support. You've spent a lifetime giving. Now it's time to receive. If you're feeling this deep, persistent tiredness, if you find yourself sleeping more, doing less, and wondering why, you're not alone. Many seniors experience this in the final year of life, even if no one says it out loud. This isn't the end of your story, it's a different chapter. One that calls for gentleness, not pressure, stillness, not shame. You are still you, even if you can't do all the things you once did. And in this season of life, your value doesn't come from how active you are, but from the love you carry, the memories you hold, and the presence you share with those who care for you. So let go of the guilt. Let go of the need to prove you're still strong. Because real strength now looks a lot like grace. 3. When the mind grows foggy and the heart pulls away, Understanding the quiet shift in connection. Have you ever walked into a room and forgotten why you went there? Struggled to remember someone's name, even though you've known them for years? Or found it hard to follow a conversation that used to come easily? If so, you're not alone, and more importantly, you're not losing yourself. For many older adults, there comes a time, often subtle at first, when the mind starts to feel less clear. You might find yourself repeating things, losing track of time, or feeling confused in familiar places. At first, it's frustrating. You tell yourself, "I'm just tired today," or "it's just old age." But somewhere deep down, a quiet awareness settles in, something is changing. This kind of mental fog, when it becomes more frequent, more disruptive, may be a sign that the body and brain are beginning to slow down together. For some, it's part of the natural winding down process in the final year of life. It doesn't mean you're broken. It means your body is shifting its focus from doing and remembering to simply being. And along with this mental change, something else often happens. You start to pull away emotionally. The world feels louder. Conversations feel longer. You may not have the energy to keep up with everyone the way you used to. Crowded rooms feel overwhelming. Phone calls go unanswered. It's not because you don't love your family or care about your friends. It's because even love takes energy, and yours is running low. This quiet withdrawal can feel lonely. Sometimes you don't have the words to explain it. And when people notice you being less talkative or more forgetful, they may not realize that deep inside, you're aware of the change too. But please, let me tell you this. This stage you're in is not a failure. It's not something to hide. It's a part of life's final chapter, a time when your soul starts to let go. Even while your body is still here. What you need most in this season isn't pressure to stay sharp or act normal. What you need is gentleness. Gentle voices, gentle moments, familiar faces, a hand to hold, even when words no longer come easily. You may not always remember the details, but you can still feel the love. You may forget names, but you'll remember kindness. You may grow quiet, but you still need connection, even if it looks different now. For those around you, it can be hard. Watching someone they love fade in and out of clarity can feel like losing you before you're truly gone. But this is when love must grow softer, not louder. No need to fix, correct, or fill the silence. Just sit, just be there. That's enough. If you're noticing these changes in yourself, or someone gently points them out, take a breath. You don't have to fight it. You don't have to hide it. You don't have to prove anything. You've lived a full life. You've earned the right to rest, to drift a little, to let your mind wander where it needs to go. Even in forgetfulness, you are still deeply loved. Even in silence, you are still present. And even in the fading light, your soul shines with a quiet strength no memory can erase. 4. When the body no longer heals like it used to. The quiet struggle of getting sick more often. There was a time when a small cut healed in just a few days. A cold came and went without much fuss. You bounced back. You were strong. But now, things are different. A little scratch takes weeks to close. A simple cold turns into days, even weeks, of coughing, fatigue, and rest. And when you do finally feel better, another infection seems to follow not long after. It's not just frustrating, it's exhausting. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Many older adults experience more frequent infections and slower healing as they reach the later stages of life. The body, once a quiet warrior that fought off illness without complaint, now tires more easily. And it doesn't bounce back the way it used to. You might wonder, why is this happening to me now? The truth is, your immune system, the part of you that's worked silently for decades to fight off colds, infections, and wounds, is starting to slow down. Not because you've done something wrong, but because it's simply part of how the body begins to let go. It can feel discouraging. Maybe you've had one too many trips to the doctor this year. Maybe your skin bruises more easily. Or maybe you're constantly on antibiotics, yet the infections keep returning. You might even feel embarrassed, wondering why such small things are now such a big deal. But here's what no one tells you enough: this isn't weakness. It's part of the body's natural process of winding down. As circulation slows, as organs work a little less efficiently, healing takes longer. The body isn't trying to fail you, it's trying to hold on, doing the best it can with what energy remains. What's even harder is how subtle these signs can be. A loved one might not notice what's happening. They might not see that what looks like a small cough, or just a sore, feels so much bigger inside your world. And sometimes, infection doesn't show up with a high fever, it shows up as confusion, tiredness, or a lack of appetite. That's why it's often missed, and why you may feel worse before anyone realizes you're even sick. At some point, the goal of treatment begins to shift. It's not always about curing anymore, it's about comforting. It's about reducing the stress your body is under. It's about helping you feel clean, hydrated, and cared for. Sometimes, simple things, warm blankets, soft lighting, gentle touch, or just being listened to, matter more than any pill. And if you felt afraid lately, afraid of what your body is telling you, afraid of how long it's taking to heal, afraid of being a burden, let that fear soften. You are not a burden. You are a person who has carried this body through a lifetime. Now, it's your body's turn to be cared for, with tenderness and respect. So, if you're noticing more infections, longer healing, or just feeling more fragile than before, take heart. This is your body speaking, not in pain, but in truth. It's asking you to slow down, to be gentle with yourself, to let others help. Because in this season, healing doesn't just mean fighting illness. Sometimes, healing means being seen, being comforted, and being reminded that you still matter deeply, no matter how your body may be changing. 5. When the breath slows and the hands turn cold. Listening to the body's final whisper. There's something sacred about the breath. It's the first thing we do when we come into this world, and often the last thing we do when we leave it. We breathe without thinking, in and out, day after day, a rhythm so natural, we hardly notice it until something changes. Maybe you've felt it lately. A strange shortness of breath just from walking across the room. A need to rest after speaking only a few sentences. Maybe you've found yourself breathing through your mouth more often. Or waking in the night gasping softly. Needing to sit up. It's not panic, it's just different. At first, you may think it's just a cold. Or maybe the air is too dry. But over time, the changes become more noticeable. Breathing becomes shallower, slower, irregular. Sometimes there's a pause between breaths that lasts longer than expected. And when you look down, your hands or feet may feel colder than usual, even with socks and blankets. The skin may look pale, or even a bit bluish at the fingertips. These are not random changes. They are quiet signals, the body's way of gently letting go. As we near the end of life, the heart doesn't pump as strongly as it once did. Blood doesn't flow to the hands, feet, or outer skin the way it used to. The body begins to protect what matters most, sending warmth and oxygen to the vital organs, while letting go of the rest. And with that, the breath begins to shift too. Some people develop what's called Cheyne-Stokes breathing, a pattern of deep breaths followed by long pauses. It can be unsettling to witness, especially for loved ones, but for the person experiencing it, it's often peaceful, the body simply finding its own rhythm on the way to stillness. Sometimes, fluid can build up in the lungs, making breathing feel heavier or noisier. You may notice a soft gurgling sound, or a dry cough that doesn't quite go away. Lying flat may become uncomfortable, and you might feel better propped up with pillows or resting in a recliner. These aren't just signs of discomfort, they're the body's way of asking for gentler care. In this season of life, many people worry, is something wrong with me? Should I go to the hospital? Will I get better? But the truth is, this isn't about fixing something. It's about understanding what the body is saying, and offering it peace instead of panic. If you've felt these changes, or noticed them in someone you love, try not to be afraid. This is the body doing what it was always meant to do, transition gracefully and quietly toward rest. Now is the time for calm, for quiet, for soft light, clean air, and comforting voices. A cool room, a warm blanket, a hand to hold. These simple things matter more now than any medication ever could. You've spent your life giving your breath to others, in laughter, in conversation, in love, and now, as that breath grows slower, it deserves to be met with tenderness and gratitude. Because even as the breath fades, your presence remains. Your story, your spirit, your legacy, they don't leave with your final breath. They live on, in every life you've touched, and every heart that still holds you close. So breathe easy. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are deeply loved, in every breath, and far beyond it. If you've made it to the end of this video, thank you, truly. It means you care about your health, about your loved ones, about making the most of the time that remains. We've talked about 5 quiet signs the body may give in its final year, signs that are easy to overlook, but deeply meaningful when we pause to understand them. Not to scare, but to prepare. Not to grieve early, but to love more deeply, more presently, more peacefully. Because the truth is, aging isn't the end of life, it's the heart of it. It's the time when presence matters more than productivity. When small moments, a soft hand, a quiet breath, a shared memory, become life's greatest treasures. If you or someone you love is experiencing these signs, know this: you are not broken. You are not a burden. You are simply walking through one of life's most sacred seasons, and you deserve to be held with compassion, dignity, and unwavering love. Speech balloon: we'd love to hear from you in the comments. Whether you're a senior yourself or caring for someone in this stage of life, your story matters, your voice matters, and it may bring comfort to someone else walking this same path. Push pin: if this message touched you, please consider subscribing to our channel. Here, we share gentle, thoughtful content for older adults and their families, content that informs, comforts, and honors the beauty of growing older. Tap the bell so you never miss a video. Because sometimes, a quiet message at just the right time can change everything. Thank you for being here. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other. You are loved, you are seen, and your story is not over yet.